So Eli Stowers out of Vandy. He is 22 years old, Mal, so he's pretty young. He's pretty raw. If you don't know the story, he was at New Mexico State with Diego Pavia. He was at quarterback. They were competing there at quarterback, and he lost out to him and became a tight end. And I'm not saying he's the mold of these basketball guys, but he's super raw. I didn't have a full slate of college experience at tight end. This is kind of why I like the guy, because history says that the athletic stuff is what we're talking about. And this dude has all of that. 22. He is 6'4", 240, so a little undersized, but he ran a 4.51, which is 98 percentile. His 10-yard was 81 percentile. Vertical. Broke the vertical record, all-time record, 45.5-inch vertical. Broad jump, 135, 100%. So he had a better vertical and better broad than Kenyon Sadiq. So he is actually more athletic, even longer arms, only 38 percentile, but longer than Sadiq. Production was better than Sadiq. So he is definitely a project. His biggest issue is blocking. And I just think it's kind of like an Evan Ingram thing, where that is actually one of my low-end comps for him is just Evan Ingram. They're just like, fuck it, we're not going to use you as a blocker. You're essentially an extension of the run game on the short stuff. You're playing the slot receiver role. You're playing Z. You're the move tight end. That's his ceiling and his upside in the NFL. Is that enough, Mouth, to rank him highly and be confident drafting him this season?
No. To me, unless, is it bad of me to say, I don't like that the most prominent thing I've seen out of him is wheel routes. That doesn't fill me with joy or happiness. However, from what I see of him from the combine work, him being adept at running said wheel route means to me that he could then deal with handoffs. The fact that he used to be a quarterback means that he understands the entire football field versus, just one position. I know he's raw at tight end, and route running is never going to be a thing for him. To me, this screams gadget knife. This screams Taysom Hill. This is once again the second player that does not profile like a tight end to me. This is a full back, running back, backup, quarterback, all wrapped into one package. And why does this sound like New Orleans second round pick? This literally sounds like somebody New Orleans is going to take in round 2 to have Taysom Hill mentor and be like, now I pass the gadget knife on to you, my son. That's the kind of player that I think he's going to be.
Everything. I can't hold my tongue. I love. He's my number 1 tight end. I love this guy, and it's because he's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver. And my high-end comp, don't laugh here. It's Mike Evans. This is Mike Evans. This guy, he's raw. I know there's some issues with the film, but he is way better ADOT than Kenyon Sadiq. I know you give me that look. Dude, I saw contested catches. I saw being a man amongst boys. He's 240 pounds, and he runs like the wind. He runs like the wind. Same exact 40 as Mike Evans. Man, this dude, he's so raw, but the spot for him is Denver. You know how Sean Payton's always looking for that joker, right? And it didn't work out with Evan Ingram. It will work with this guy, and he's not going to be a full-time player his rookie year. That's the concern in terms of fantasy. It might be a little rough, but if he gets to a spot where they're just we're kind of fuck the tight end thing, you can play in line, and when we're playing heavy personnel as the 2 or 3, but you're just going to be in the slot. You're going to play outside. We're just going to have you on the field as essentially a receiver. That's his upside in the NFL, and I think that's what he's ultimately destined to be, because he's the most explosive player coming out, and you could give me Sadiq. I think it's 1A, 1B, and all time. This is all time Spark score right here, and you see up top you have Kenyon Sadiq 100.0, George Kittle 99.7, Gesicki 99.5. Albert O somehow was up there. And then you see Eli Stowers there at 99. Now there's some bust here for sure. But there's also a couple hits. But this guy is go ahead.
when I say Taysom Hill, please do not think I mean that to insult the kid. I think Taysom Hill came out in the wrong time. Like, if you really want my opinion, if Taysom Hill were a prospect now, I think he would have gotten a lot more buzz, had a lot more playing time, and might have been a bigger thing in the NFL than he was. Because as you can see, going towards the end of his career, coaches have found more use for him, more utility for him, and it just is unfortunate that they managed to figure out how to use a gadget knife like him at the end of his career. I'm not gonna say, like I was saying, Taysom Hill was his low end comp. His high end comp to me is Debo, but much faster.
Ooh.
I could see Stowers being Debo, where he could actually get you tough yards. He could bang people around. And remember, you said he's 22 years old. He's going to gain about 5 more pounds in muscle mass and stuff like that. So I could see him being more Debo. He's not going to keep the same inline speed as Evans. And that's not how teams are going to use him, especially not Sean Payton. It didn't work with Evan Ingram. And remember, he's still there. So he's still there. So, I mean, I don't know what the Broncos are going to do with Ingram.
They would cut him if they draft a tight end. Because there's no use for Evan Ingram if they draft a receiving tight end.
Unless they have him sit because he's raw.
Yeah, that might be a first-round pick. I mean, this guy could go anywhere in the draft. I can see him going first round. This is kind of my plus 850 bet on the 2 tight ends going in the first round. But he could also go in the third round because of the flaws in his game. And there's definite flaws. I mean, there's flaws in almost all these guys' games besides some of the steady eddies that don't have the upside here. But I feel very confident saying he's the best receiving tight end in this draft. And there's a lot of good ones. And he is right up there with Colson Loveland in my mind as a receiving tight end. And more juice. This guy's got the juice, and I guess we'll see. This is a really, really wild card type player that anything could happen here.
It definitely is. Now, like I said, I don't think my evaluation of him is an insult to him. I'm like, this is not saying that he would be a bust. Like, listen, if he ended up having the career of a Taysom Hill, you'd take that from a tight end, where he could be a utility knife on your team. And he doesn't have to be the starting tight end, but he could go line up at fullback, catch passes out of the backfield, run wheel routes, go line up in the slot, be a go, and just run a good go route for you. Go line up like in trips and run the wheel to end up being the sideline, the guy burning down the sideline. Like, if he could have a career being that, that's worth a second-round pick at the tight end position. Are you kidding? Like,
yeah,
that more like, please sign me up all day for that, all day. And then in fantasy, sign me up for that all day, because you can get 5 targets, get 3 catches, go for 60 yards and a touchdown, and get me 12 fantasy points as a backup.
That's what we want. Give me 12. Give me the 12 points, and I'm out at tight end. That's all I care about.
Yep, and that's Eli at his lowest. And by the way, that's just me evaluating him with not rose-colored glasses, because of how much Rob has talked this kid up so much. So with the not rose-colored glasses, that's where I'm evaluating this kid. He's good. I like him.